Hello, students. Good morning to all of you. How are you all? I hope you all are in good health and taking great care of yourself. I am Fatima Kulsawala from Atmiya Green School, Jadeshwar, and today we will be continuing with the poem On Killing a Tree. In the previous video, we already discussed the poem and we already saw the explanation of the poem. So today we will be moving ahead with the literary devices of this poem and also the question answers. As you know, this poem On Killing a Tree is written by Jeev Patel. And let me just give you a brief summary of this poem, which we have already studied. Here, the poet sensitizes the reader, that means us, and highlights the fact that trees are also living beings, just like human beings. Just like human beings grow, trees also grow by slowly consuming the earth, which he has shown in the first stanza, right? Upon the crust absorbing and years of sunlight, air, and water, and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves, right? And he tries to convey the message that just like human beings, trees are also the part of nature and which should not be destroyed. And if you want to cut a tree, that doesn't mean the tree is going to die by just cutting the tree, right? So a tree does not merely die by cutting because it regrows from where it is cut. So जहाँ से उसको कट किया है, if you are not uprooting the tree, if you have just cut the branches, then if you have just cut the trunk of the tree, then it would regrow. So if you want to kill a tree, then you need to uproot that tree. It should be taken out from the soil or out from the crust of the earth from where it gets the anchoring, right? जैसे कि हमने पढ़ा था, एंकरिंग का मतलब होता है किसी चीज़ को होल्ड करके रखना, राइट? सो ट्रीज़ के मामले में सबसे स्ट्रेंथनिंग पार्ट कौन सा है ट्री का? दोज आर रूट्स एंड those are roots, and they are also considered to be the most sensitive part and the hidden part, right? क्योंकि roots क्या होते हैं ज़मीन के अंदर, so we can't see it, and that's why it is called hidden inside the earth. And if you want to kill it just by uprooting, once it is laid outside in scorching heat and sun, in air, it would start withering and it would start hardening, and then finally it would die. So now let's see the literary devices of this poem. First of all, in this poem there is no rhyming scheme, right? Rhyming scheme means उसके जो last words होते हैं, they normally when you read some poems are such जिसके अंदर उसके जो last words होते हैं उसके sound similar होते हैं, right? तो वहाँ पे आप कह सकते हो कि rhyming scheme है, लेकिन ये poem के अंदर rhyming scheme नहीं है. It's considered to be free verse. Now the second literary device which we would be seeing over here is enjambment. What do you mean by enjambment? Enjambment means first line with which you started, it doesn't end up in that line itself. It goes to second line and over there it gets end up. For example, if you see here, not a simple jab of knife will do it. So here if you notice, ये जो line है वो पूरी एक है, but it didn't end over here. It came till here and then it ended. In the same way, it has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. So this is again enjambment, because commas भी लगे हैं बीच में और कहीं पर भी रुक नहीं जाती है वो लाइन, कहीं पर भी बीच में नहीं, जो लाइन है उसमें ही फिनिश नहीं हो जाती है. So that literary device is named as enjambment, and I hope that you understand what are literary devices, right? लिटरेरी डिवाइसेस किसको बोलते हैं? दैट दोज आर वेरियस एलिमेंट्स और टेक्निक्स विच आर यूज्ड बाय द ऑथर टू अचीव हिज और हर पर्पस. उसका जो पर्पस है या उसको जो मैसेज देना है, राइट, इन द वे विच ही इज़ राइटिंग, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड लिटरेरी डिवाइसेस. और हम नॉर्मली पोएम में क्या पढ़ते हैं? फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच, जो हम लोग लिटरेरी डिवाइस के अंदर काउंटिंग करते हैं. So the things which we have studied till now, that is rhyming scheme and enjambment, those are also literary device. Now let's move on. And again you can see the enjambment is again over here also. The most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. So here again in this line there is no comma, no full stop after this line, right? उसके बाद कोई comma full stop नहीं है. So it is being continued in the next line and it ended over there. So that is again a enjambment over here. And now let's see another literary device. As you know, I told you before कि यहाँ पे पोएट ने ट्री को किसके साथ कंपेयर किया है? ह्यूमन बीइंग के साथ, राइट? एंड व्हेन देयर इज़ एन इनडायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन, दैट मीन्स जिसके अंदर हमने कंपैरिजन किया है लेकिन ऐसे कोई वर्ड्स का यूसेज नहीं किया जो दिखा सके कि वहाँ पे कंपैरिजन हुआ है, जैसे कि एज या फिर लाइक. सो उसके अंदर हम कंपैरिजन होता है तो उसको हम कहते हैं मेटाफॉर. सो हियर इफ़ यू सी द लाइन leprous hide and out of its leprous hide. So here leprous hide जो है वो ट्री को गिना जाता है, राइट? ट्री का बार्क जो है उसको लेप्रस हाइड किया कहा गया है, बट उसका कंपैरिजन इनडायरेक्टली किसके साथ हुआ है? टू द स्किन ऑफ अ पर्सन सफरिंग फ्रॉम डिजीज कॉल्ड लेप्रेसी, राइट? सो हियर द अनइवन कलर ऑफ द ट्रंक ऑफ द ट्री इज कंपेयर्ड to the skin of the person suffering leprosy. So here that is an indirect comparison over here, and so that is metaphor. There is one more comparison which is indirect. It's over here. The bleeding bark will heal. So what do you mean by bleeding bark? Here bleeding bark means the bark of the tree which when being cut the sap will come out, right? जो लिक्विड निकलता है वाइट, उसका कंपैरिजन किसके साथ हुआ है? इनडायरेक्टली विद द ब्लड ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग, राइट? जैसे ही ह्यूमन बीइंग को अगर कहीं पे लग जाता है, इफ़ यू गेट कट समवेयर ऑन योर बॉडी, what happens? You start bleeding. In the same way, when the tree is being cut, its bark is going to bleed. So here again there is an indirect comparison, इसीलिए यहाँ पे ये जो है bleeding bark, that is metaphor. Now another one is alliteration. Alliteration का मतलब क्या होता है? Alliteration means repetition of a consonant sound in two or more closely places. You can take this word itself, bleeding bark. यहाँ पे बी दोनों के अंदर कॉन्सोनेंट है जो रिपीट हुआ है. सो दिस कम्स अंडर द फिगर ऑफ स्पीच, दैट इज एलिटरेशन. एंड इन द सेम वे यू कैन सी एलिटरेशन इन दिस वन. आई एम सो सॉरी. White and wet. Here also the sound of W is being repeated, and that's why this is also alliteration. Now let's see the next one, which is considered to be the last figure of speech or last literary device in this poem, and that is repetition. Repetition means a word which is being repeated again and again to put more emphasis. कोई चीज़ को हम बार बार रिपीट कर रहे हैं ताकि ज़्यादा एम्फोसिस डाल सके. सो हियर the word pulled out is written 3 times. The root is to be pulled out out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out. Again, it is repeated over here. Snapped out or pulled out entirely. Again, यहाँ पे तीसरी बार pulled out repeat हुआ है. So here the poet is emphasizing on the word pulled out. That means to uproot the tree, right? तो ये जो word है उसके ऊपर emphasis डालने के लिए पोएट ने क्या किया है, उसको रिपीट किया है. सो द अनदर फिगर ऑफ स्पीच वी आर हैविंग इट ओवर हियर इज repetition. So students, I hope that you are clear with all the literary devices. So let's move on to the question answers of the poem. Before that, we would be just reading out the glossary which is given over here, and you have to write it down in your notebook also. Here the word jab means sudden rough blow. Second one is leprous hide, that means discolored bark. Third is hack, that means cut roughly by striking heavy blows. Next one is anchoring earth, that means trees are held securely with the help of roots in the earth. Next one is snapped out, that means chopped out. And the last one over here is scorching and choking. That means the drying up of the tree after being uprooted. So you are writing this glossary. Now let's move on to the question answers. Thinking about the poem. The first one is, can a simple jab of knife kill the tree, and why not? So we have already learned that does this happen? Is it possible कि single blow से tree को मारा जा सकता है? And if you say no, then you need to give a reason. So let's see the answer for that. Okay, so here the answer is no. A simple jab of knife does not have the ability to kill the tree. It has to go through various processes. If its root is not removed from the earth, it will sprout again. That means कि if you try to kill a tree by just a single blow, right, with a knife, then it won't kill the tree, because until and unless the roots are being removed from the earth, it is going to sprout again from the trunk of the tree where you cut. Let's see the second question. How has the tree grown to its full size? List the words suggestive of its life and activity. So the answer over here is, the tree consumes the earth and rises out it, feeding upon its crust, and it absorbs years of sunlight, air and water. So these are the lines which suggest that tree is a living thing and it grows by using earth, or you can say over here consuming the nutrients and minerals from the soil. It rises out from the crust because when we plant a tree, it's just a seed or a sapling which is being planted inside the crust of the tree, crust of the earth, and from there it shoots out and it starts growing above the surface of the soil, and it absorbs sunlight, air and water to grow up to a full size tree. Now let's see third question. What is the meaning of bleeding bark and what makes it bleed? So the answer would be, the bleeding bark means the twigs which are cut mercilessly. They leave a liquid substance. If any part of human body is cut, it starts bleeding. In the same way, the liquid substance comes out of the branch of the tree. The human being's X makes it bleed. So bleeding bark, as we have already studied, that bleeding bark means the trunk of the tree which is being cut mercilessly by the human being, right? And when you cut it, there is a liquid substance, white liquid substance which comes out of it, which is being called sap. और यहाँ पे उसी चीज़ को कंपेयर किया गया है ह्यूमन के ब्लड के साथ. Whenever there is a cut on a human body, what happens? The human being starts bleeding. And in the same way, the bark of the tree also starts bleeding when a human being cut the tree with an axe. Let's see question number 4. The poet says no in the beginning of third stanza. What does he mean by this? So why did he just used no in the third stanza alone? To emphasize the perspective that chopping or hacking will not be sufficient for killing a tree. If you see the stanza above the third one, they have described that if a tree is just being hacked or chopped from the trunk of the tree, what is going to happen? The bark is going to bleed, but it will start healing. मतलब वो recover हो जाएगा, and the place where you cut it, the miniature boughs would start growing again if you don't put a check over it, and it will expand again to the former size. So इसीलिए उसने कहा, इसीलिए emphasis डालने के लिए उसने no use किया हुआ है. Okay, let's see the next one. What is the meaning of anchoring earth and earth cave? It means that the earth protects its like mother. An earth cave implies a hole inside it. Earth cave, as I told you, that a cavity is being formed inside the earth जहाँ पर roots फैले हुए हैं, and that's why it is being called earth cave. And anchoring earth means earth जो roots को hold करके रखता है, right? So your earth is considered to be a mother who is protecting the tree. The tree allows its roots to spread underneath, and the earth protects it and fosters it. It provides all the essential ingredients to the tree. Let's see the next question. What does he mean by the strength of the tree exposed? So यहाँ पे strength of the tree क्या है जिसने tree को anchor करके रखा है earth के अंदर? That are roots. So the stem or the root is the strength of the tree, and when the tree is pulled out, its strength is exposed. The last one. What finally kills the tree? So what happens which makes the tree finally dead? Pulling out the tree from Mother Earth and scorching and choking it in the sun and air kill the tree. It becomes brown, dry, and gets hard, and eventually it dies. So once you pull out the tree, once you uproot the tree from the Mother Earth, right, and leave it in the sun and air, the scorching heat of the sun would make it choke, and it would become brown and dry, and it would get withered away soon. So students, I hope that you are clear with the poem and also the exercises. So please note down the answers in your notebook. Take care.